This is the Three Man Podcast, a football podcast where we discuss football, and more football. We got three of the very best bringing it to you. Got my man Wags, man Zell, and your boy Cash on the action. Y'all tune in, grab your popcorn, because here comes the three-man front. Make sure your offensive lineman is ready. What's being brought to you.
All right, we are back in the three-man front. My name is Jim Weglas, a.k.a. Wegs. You can follow me at Wegspool on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Zell, where can we follow you, sir?
Follow me on Facebook at Denzel Smith and on Instagram at Windy City Kid.
And Kenny, the architect.
You can find me on Facebook at Kenny Casanova. Find me on YouTube at Casanova Vibes. And I'm always somewhere on Twitter somewhere.
And we are live on the Facebook, different accounts for Kenny's and myself. I think we're not for sure on Denzel's yet, but we're on Casanova Vibes on YouTube. We also have it up on Spotify after it. So good job last week, Kenny, for getting us on the audio. So welcome back, Zell. We were just talking about your cruise adventure. You're rested. You're focused and rested after the big trip, right?
Yeah, really relaxed, really focused, and got back to shore and saw all the notifications. All the notifications.
I know you were kissing the ground when you got back. So
yeah.
I'll give you the call this week, since I asked Kenny last week. We've got three different categories of news. We got good news, bad news, and meh news. Which news do you want first?
Let's start with the bad. The bad, gotta get the bad out the way.
Man. There's a lot of it, man, last week too, but this week just keeps it coming. Just today, you put it on the chat. Atlanta's edge rusher, second-year player, John Walker. I mean, well, he didn't do his MRI, but they fear an ACL tear for him. That's tough because they just paid the offensive guys we'll talk about in a minute. But huge impact, don't you think, Zell? What do you think this is going to be a downgrade of their defense right away?
Definitely a downgrade because the South is pretty looking bad with injuries, and ATL has quite a couple of them right now. Mm-hmm. And your quarterback Tua is also out with a back injury. Yeah. So now you're looking like, okay, what's ATL going to do with this defense? You just lost a good edge rusher in Jelon Walker. Hopefully it's not an ACL tear, but they think it is. And so Atlanta has to have the next best things coming. Hopefully this defense can get it right before the regular season, and hopefully Jelon's not out for a long time.
That's right. Kenny, you agree that this is going to be a downgrade right away?
Yeah, I don't like this. I do not like this. And not just Tua being out. I mean, Penix is not all the way healthy yet. I think a lot of people forgetting that. Like, they literally had to bring somebody in just because, just to fill the spot because they're depleted. There really is. They're depleted at quarterback right now. I'm not liking it. I don't know, Atlanta, man. I had high hopes for them this year, too. Yeah. I did, because I just thought that with them bringing in the new coach, them paying their guys and getting everything right, I'm like, Atlanta could be one of the teams. Just look out for them. But now with these injuries, man, I don't know.
It's a tough one. I mean, they were an it team. I think a lot of people were excited, especially when Tua was going there and unleash the offense. But he's not there, and that defense played really good last year. And Pierce, we didn't even talk about him. He's obviously on the team, but he had some offseason stuff that could come back to haunt him this year. He's the other guy on the other side that they both had big years. So we'll see. I know you guys want to talk about this more generally, but San Francisco wide receiver Ricky Pearsall had another season-ending surgery on his PCL because it didn't work the first time. He reported to camp with swelling, and they're like, I guess this didn't work. So, Kenny, you think they should fire the whole staff?
Yeah, bye. Everybody, get out. Get out. If I'm John Lynch, I'm them guys up in the get out, everybody. Clear your lockers. Kyle Shanahan, just stay home where you at. We'll bring your stuff to you. We'll ship it to you. Matter of fact, we'll use FedEx. Ship it right to your door. You don't have to even get up. Yeah, everybody got to go. This is the same story every year. And we're not even in the year for real yet.
No.
Preseason ain't happened. They just put the pads on yesterday. The equipment manager like, man, I gotta hang these up already. I just brought them out. I just brought them out. I just polished them, and you gotta hang them up already. I can't believe Seven. Who is in charge of this? Because I want to blame that person. They need to be fired directly. And the doctor who worked on Parasol's knee, never practice on any of the rest of our players. We're gonna send them to somewhere else. Because I don't know how you messed this up. This is not like I don't want to say it. I don't want to make it seem like it's easy to do these surgeries, but this is not one of the particular ones where you're like, oh yeah, I have to get right into and then I have to. It's like, come on, man, this is like kind of standard now, especially with medicine being so evolved now. You would think like these are standard procedures. Why is my parent talking about swelling?
That's right. So what do you think is going on over there? It's just medical evaluations or what?
Man, I don't know what's in the Bay Area. It's been a plague since last year. I love it because we ain't got to deal. Seattle, we over here. We ain't got to deal with that many injuries. We're having our players good, but the 49ers, as we look at it now, Pascal, he didn't do that much last year. He played 9 games last year. He only had 36 reception yards, 528 yards, and he's like a little slot player. So now he's out. So all you have is Mike Evans. They for that one. They got Mike Evans. You got George Kittle, who's in and out of the lineup every week. Yeah. He's not healthy. You got Christian McCaffrey. We don't know how long he's gonna stay healthy, but he's healthy right now. And then you got the returning Debo Samuels, yes. And he's way past his prime. So and Kyle Shanahan is out. So we'll see how this goes for the 49ers. But as of right now, the ship is sinking right now, and the Bay Area is not getting lit for the past years and a half. So
Right. Christian Kirk's the other guy. It's like their receiving core between Kittle, receiving core, McCaffrey. These guys are OGs. I mean, like there's no youth on this team. They did draft a second-round guy. They had hoped Pearsall came back. Marcus Robinson, maybe he can do something off the bench. But I mean, I don't know if you saw that X post of Debo. I know it was AI, but they put it with a big gut and he's walking, showing up for camp because Debo was not in shape in Washington. So it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Well, there's some more injuries we got to run down here. Cincinnati had obviously some Shamar Stewart, the defensive end. He avoided the ACL tear. He had a hyperextension. Apparently, his leg is made of rubber because I don't know if you saw the play. It did not look good. But he avoided major injury. He's only going to be out a few weeks. But the rookie in Carolina, Chris Brazzell, he tore his LCL. He'll be out for the year. That sucks. And then defensive tackle from New Orleans, Brian Breesy, he was actually an up-and-coming player. He tore his ACL. He's out for the year. And then Bryant for the Bears got hurt yesterday. He did not tear his ACL, but he did have a fracture in his hyperextension. He's out 8 to 10 weeks. And I'll go one more. We'll just talk about some of these. Jonathan Gennard was a big pickup by Philly from Minnesota, and he's on the pup list because he kind of like partially tore his pec or something. So, my God, we don't know what is going on here. They just put in the pads. I mean, is it just that these guys are training too hard in the offseason, or they're just not? What is going on? I mean, what is your take, Kenny? Why are all these injuries happening right away when they're not even really making contact?
They're not training at all. I see a lot of streaming. I see a lot of guys just out there streaming, doing a lot of social media stuff. I don't see enough training and the right training. Why is LeBron James 42 years old and going into his 24th year? Why is he the healthiest player in the NBA? Why is that the case? Why doesn't anybody say, hey, LeBron, what do you do?
Right.
Or reach out to somebody who's been in the league a long time with minimal injuries like Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell seems to always play. He seems to always play. And so to me, why aren't you guys doing what they doing to stay healthy? Because clearly, whatever that formula is working. It's working. Now you can't do everything they do because everybody's body's a little different, but some of the stuff you can cherry pick off of. I just believe that. I believe there's not enough attention to stretching, how important that is. There's not enough attention to just the body, man. Learning anatomy. You need to learn how your body is, how your dynamics are, what works for you. You know, Ocho Cinco played a whole career and can eat McDonald's every day. That may not be what you can do, but see, he can do that. And so you got to learn your body. You learn your body, man. I think these guys, they don't know their body, man. They just be out there just doing whatever, training, just running around and stuff like that. And that's why they get injured every day.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Zell, on that?
I mean, I'm on the outside looking in. So, it's preseason's coming up and you got draft picks, you got free agent signings. And some of these players, they're taking good care of their body. Some of these players, they don't care. That's off season. They say, hey, we worked a lot of these games. We want to enjoy our times with our families, go on vacations, do a whole bunch of stuff. And then when we come back to training camp, our body's going to be the same. Obviously, that's not the case in this predicament. That's not the case as we see all these injuries popping up. And from veteran players as well, they probably doing like their normal regimens, but their bodies, since we got more games added, it's taking more tolls than what it normally did. So we can't blame the medical staff. The medical staff can only find what's wrong and what they can evaluate and how they can get the players back on and off the field. But it's up to the players and their off-season regimens to, take care of their bodies. I agree with Kenny. Like LeBron James, like even though he's older now, so his body is not the way it used to. But when prime LeBron James, healthy. So I think these players need to take a step back and stop. Some players, they're overworking themselves. So they overwork themselves trying to make the roster, like I was telling Kenny the other day. And so they're trying to make a spot because if you don't get on that spot, then it is what it is. So some of these players are outworking themselves and they need to know their body limits.
Right. I mean, the guys are bigger, stronger, faster. You're pushing, ligaments and tendons don't get that much stronger. The muscles do. Maybe it's just overload. But I don't know, part of it, me thinks like, I know that the NFLPA is never going to let them do this, but they don't hit enough. I think they used to hit so much more. Their bodies were used to it, and now they just don't hit for 9 months, and then they come into it, and all of a sudden, the first hit, boom, you've got people bent in weird ways because their body's not used to feeling it, I guess. Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk. You want to go good news or meh news, Zell?
Meh.
I love it. So meh. I mean, it's still news. I mean, Tony Romo came out after the podcast last week, had the DUI up in Wisconsin. Bad videos if you've seen it. And it was like all leaked videos from the police department, which that was kind of weak. But he looked a little silly. The J.J. Watt's going to replace him right now on CBS for the main team because he's out on leave and pending, I guess, whatever, the findings, the trial, whatever it is. So I'm sure you guys saw this. Zell, what was your reaction to Tony Romo's visiting grandma or grandpa or whatever?
The man was still smiling like through the half of the video. I'm like, that's that Tony Romo smile on TV all the time. He's trying to get away with his charm and his looks, but no, not. You're not playing, Mr. Romo. You're analyst. So, but hey, the police department was whoever did this is. Why would you leak the videos? They try to dismantle this man's career. His career was already dismantled in Dallas, okay?
Right.
Jerry put him on a pedestal in Dallas now. But look, actions bring consequences, and he's living the consequence because there was a whole bunch of people on social media like, if CBS doesn't get him off for this, then we're going to not watch football on Sunday. So I was just like, next few hours, it was like, J.J. Watt's going to replace him. So I'm like, yeah, you reap what you sow, but the police department is whoever leaked that video did dirty.
That's
funny. Kenny, what do you think?
I ain't gonna lie, when I seen the video, he asked the lady, he said, I didn't pass that. He says, just turn around. He's like, all right, I ain't even gonna fight you. I'm not even gonna fight you. I already know I failed. Yeah, I'm like, hey, they dirty for leaking that video. That video did not have to come out. You know how many DUI videos are probably players and stuff that probably is just as funny as that, and they didn't get it. Like, let that video stay in. We're such in a social media time, man, and you can't even get arrested in peace.
Like, yeah, it's Wisconsin. Everybody's drinking and driving up there. Give me a break.
Of course. I mean, it wasn't like it was like a weekday. I mean, this is the weekend, man. He was having a great time.
I mean, was he like, I don't know. I mean, obviously he wasn't belligerent. He was Tony. He was like, simple and whatever. But that's too bad. Too bad for Tony. The other meh news is Jadeveon Clowney is signing again with Houston. I mean, obviously, maybe it's not meh. Maybe he does something, but he's been bouncing around some teams. I think he's on the way out, but he landed with his team. He drafted him, and obviously had a great defense, So, does this mean anything to you, Kenny?
Maybe he sneaks out a championship on his way out. Maybe. I'm joking. CJ Stroud's their quarterback. I'm joking. Yeah. Anyway, at least he gets on a good defense. I mean, nothing wrong with it. End your career on a good note, man. Shout out to
I got you. Zell, does this move the needle at all, or just kind of icing on the top of that defense?
I haven't heard Jadeveon Clowney's name in a long time. Phone ring yesterday, and I'm just like, oh, Jadeveon Clowney. I haven't heard that name since South Carolina. Right. And I think this could revitalize his career with that Houston Texans defense, and hopefully he can be productive going back to how he was when he came in. This defense has a lot of potential to be the greatest defense in the NFL. So with Jadeveon sounding back to Houston, I was just like, okay, maybe he sees something that in this defense that he can be a part of.
I'm sure Atlanta would have considered it after the injury, but it's too late now.
Oh, man.
Well, let's talk about the good news. You mentioned Bijan a little bit. Bijan gets paid pretty good, the highest paid running back, I guess, in NFL history. Everything that's always going to be the case when the next one's signed. But 3 years, $75 million extension, $51 million guaranteed. That's how you get it done. I'm going to ask two questions first. Roselle, I mean, this is obviously he deserves it, but do you think that Jahmyr Gibbs, who's now on the block to sign a deal, do you think he's going to get the same or less?
Bijan and Jahmyr both deserve money because they put phenomenal numbers last year, and they was talking about it. I know on NFL like last week, like how are the two top receivers not going to training camp?
Yeah, like
two top running backs not going to training camp. They just sitting down because they deserve to be paid. And I think Bijan, I said Bijan was going to get paid first before Jahmyr because Detroit, they're kind of cheap a little bit. So if they don't pay him what he's owed, then they're going to have a hard time with that running game this season. Even though you just picked up Pachenko from Kansas City, you still need a Jahmyr Gibbs. Mm-hmm. So, I think he's probably going to get the same amount. And if he doesn't, then that's a shame. Detroit needs to be, grateful that they picked up a guy and he's playing to his potential.
That's right.
Pay the man.
Casanova, you agree with that, or you think he's going to get a little less? Or
I'm not going to lie, man. On Jahmyr Gibbs and his representation, I won't settle for less. I don't even care if it's 50.9. You're going to give me 51. We're going to find a way to get that other one. If I'm not matching him, I better be above them. You must be going to give me above him. Right. If I'm not matching, because to me, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan, these guys are two just dynamic, just playmakers. I mean, in the passing game as well as they even go out for routes. Like, these guys are so versatile. They do so much for your offense. They draw so much attention so that other things can happen on your offense. So to me, that alone should get him at least what Bijan got. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on. I mean, this is a really good running back in the league, man. Top top 5, top 3 running back in the league. I mean, come on. I mean,
You know,
clearly
the thing is, he's got leverage too because Montgomery's gone. So Pacheco and Montgomery, I mean, Pacheco, I don't know. I'm not as hot on Pacheco. He hasn't played that much the last couple of years. If Montgomery was still in the building, maybe they wouldn't rush to pay him.
Yeah.
But now it's like you're looking at this offense. Yeah, they're still going to be good. They got good receivers and stuff, but you need that guy back there.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I mean, there's no way. I mean, you already let David Montgomery walk out the door. There's no way you're going to play this game with Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, come on.
But speaking of guys maybe that didn't deserve the money, let's start with Zay Flowers of Baltimore. 4 years, $140 million, $108 million guaranteed. I know Jefferson signed that a couple years ago, but it matches Justin Jefferson's number per year. Kenny, I know you want to say something about it. Zay, first of all, do you think he deserves this money?
No, and no. Not this much. No. Listen, he deserved to get money. And I'm never going to hit on nobody's pockets. Congratulations to him. Shout out to his team. No.
His agent got paid.
And his agent. No. I was shocked. When this popped up, I said, oh, somebody spam tweeting. It's fake. It's fake. Because to me, there's no way that you're telling me Zay Flowers is getting paid the same amount as JJ Jefferson. I mean, come on. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. When I heard about it, I was like, oh, no. We can't have this. Cannot have this.
And 4 years. I mean, 4 years, too. 4 years. So what do you think? You agree with Kenny that it's too much and also just too long?
I think it's too much because Zay Flowers, what can you say? He's just the top man for this offense in the Ravens. And the Ravens just pay him what Justin Jefferson. Yeah. So I can compare because Justin Jefferson is better than Zay Flowers. But it just seems like, why would you give him this much money? And his last year's numbers doesn't compare to his 2024 numbers. So It's just, you just paying this man a lot of money just to keep him. And you're coming into a new coach. So we'll see how he'll really progress. But it just makes Chris Olave's extension look. I'm just like, why is Zay Flowers getting paid more than Chris Olave? It's just,
yeah, he hasn't even. I mean, he might have had, I think, 1,200 yards. Maybe he had the most yards on the Baltimore last year, but it's not like he's a true number one. I mean, he's going to need to step up. I mean, he's obviously now going to have to earn that contract, but 108 million guaranteed. I mean, that's nice.
You know, I'm just in awe about this.
108 million guaranteed.
I thought, isn't Lamar Jackson up for a contract extension? Or I'm not.
Look at his contract. He signed 2 years ago.
I think he
signed maybe one more year. He'd look for an extension.
Because I was wondering, I'm like, where the Lamar money coming from then? Because if y'all gonna pay this, then if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm like, all right. Make sure you take care of me too.
That's right. In Chicago, pretty excited. Although we could talk about it really is. He earned this. Offensive tackle Darnell Wright. He gets an extension, 4 years, $116 million, $93 million guaranteed, which is the most guaranteed for any offensive tackle in the league. Zell, I know you're more of a Seattle guy, but did you think, when I say did you deserve, everybody deserves their money. I'm never going to besmirch you make your money, but looking at the marketplace, what did you think about this contract?
I mean, I heard about Darnell Wright because when I used to work in Chicago, I listened to the sports radio, and Darnell Wright has came a long way from being an embarrassment to doing what he's supposed to do last year. And he did what he's supposed to do at that offensive tackle position, and he deserves it. And hard work pays off. You know, when you're hearing criticism in the Chicago sports media and they're getting on you every day, like, why did they get you? Like, why are you not performing? And it took another coach to come in and the offensive coach as well to make Darnell Wright be the Darnell Wright that this Bears offensive need. So I think he deserves it, and I think he will have another fantastic year this year as well.
Okay. Kenny, you agree with that?
Yeah, you always take care of your dogs. Always take care of the trench dogs, man. You got to, because they're in there every play. They're locking in every play, man. And if, like I said, if you feel that he fits your what you don't want to do in the future, you pay him like he do. You pay him exactly what you pay him. I think that offensive tackle position is a position that's really slept on the field, but people don't realize how important that position is, the tackle. Because if he protects your blind side, he protects your front side, whatever, he's protecting you. And if he's doing a great job at that, and you got to pay him. You got to.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I don't disagree with protecting the blind side. I just don't see him as the Trent Williams or whatever. But maybe he's just going to be that guy for the next 4 or 5 years, and that's what we need. I mean, they probably also did it to stagger contracts because you got to figure Caleb will be up for an extension next year, and just trying to figure that out in the front office. Last week we did mention from Minnesota, Brian O'Neill got the money. We just got the details: 4 years, $96 million on his extension. And then a new one is Atlanta. They got the offensive guard Matthew Bergeron. He got 4 years, $96 million, 60 guaranteed. So we kind of talked about Bijan. They're obviously loading up on the offensive side. So Kenny, this is a good move, locking up the guard here.
Oh yeah, like I said, you take care of the trenches, man. You have to take care of the trenches, and Atlanta is building something there. So, and you knew Atlanta was going to take care of their offensive line because with the coach being there, he loves taking care of his offensive linemen. He knows where for real, where the offense really starts at. You got to have the line gotta have that unity, and you got to make sure that they're happy. Nothing worse than a disgruntled lineman, because if you don't block, you ain't going to win. You're not going to win. So, yeah, definitely take care of it.
That's true. Zell, any thoughts?
Not really, because Atlanta's gearing up for their offense as Kevin Stefanski's taking charge.
Mm-hmm.
But this does help Atlanta's offense more. Hopefully, nobody on their offense gets injured. We don't want that, because as of right now, it's looking like the NFC South is still up for takes. But Atlanta is that team that I think can win this year. But they have to get their quarterback situation situated first, because now you're down to the third string quarterback who nobody knows, and he's just taking snaps, and he's already guaranteed the spot. So, hey, this plays out for Atlanta very well.
Yeah,
pretty soon they're going to be one of their Wildcat with Bijan. That'll be every play. But I do think the thing with Tua is he's very susceptible to pressure up the middle, so you got to protect him up the middle, and that's a guard. So it makes sense from that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, let's use the second half of the podcast to talk about the AFC and the NFC North divisions. We did this preview last week, Zell, so we'll go through the AFC North first, then we'll go through the NFC North. And, this is obviously Kenny's division in general. So we'll start off only by the odds, Kenny. I know you're going to say what you say about the Steelers, but people are up on the Ravens again, as they got paid. So what are the coaching changes? Wholesale changes here. You had Jesse Minter coming from the Chargers was former DC. You got Anthony Weaver coming up from Miami as the DC, and then Declan Doyle left the Bears actually to run the offense for Jesse. Big losses, offensive linemen. Tyler Linderbaum went to the Raiders. You had Isaiah Likely. You had a couple guys go up to New York, Likely, Ricard, and Falele. And then Joe Noteboom. They got rid of some older guys that aren't signed right now. And then they picked up Trey Hendrickson from Cincinnati. We talk a little bit about that trade in a minute. It didn't happen. They got a new center in Pinter from Indy. Who else is of note on this list? I guess you got Skylar Thompson as a backup. Calais Campbell, you mentioned him a little bit earlier. Kenny, you got Arizona. And then I think they got a really good player in guard, and good luck pronouncing this guy's name, Olavega Ione from Oregon. He was really good. And then Zion Young in the second round, a pass rush guy. And then Jacoby Lane for wide receiver, plus Surratt from Indiana. So they've got a pretty easy schedule. That's why they're favored right now. They have a few tough games on the road at Buffalo. They play the Jags on Thursday night. They'll eventually play Pittsburgh in Week 18, and then also Thursday night football against Cincinnati in Week 17. So, Kenny, I'll let you lead off with this one. So I know your love for the Ravens is very small. So what's your take on the Ravens, all the changes they made, and if they'll be competitive in the division this year?
All right. We take biasness out of it. Be real. Let's be real. All right. I feel like Baltimore. It's a lot of unknowns for Baltimore. I'm not gonna lie to you. We don't know about Jesse Minter. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care if my cousin pop in here who's a Baltimore fan that's probably gonna hop in the comment section because I'm talking about it. We don't know. We just don't know about the Ravens. We think that they did some upgrades, but we don't know officially if they did some upgrades. You got a coach in there who's never coached before. So you instantly got that. You're going to have that do we respect him feel in there. Can he gain the respect of the locker room? You're going to have that with Baltimore. Then, I think player-wise, I feel like they did a good job at drafting. They did decent in free agency. They did a dirty move in free agency as well, which we don't really got to speak on. We ain't really got to speak on trade, non-trade. Act like you didn't know he was getting surgery. Act like you didn't know that he just got surgery. That his knee was, of course, going to look bad. It's not going to look pretty after surgery. But by now, this time, if you would have had him, I probably would have looked at Baltimore as a more scarier team with Max Crosby than without him, because Trey Henderson, to me, is a one-trick pony. I think he's a good player, but, does he really – is it impacting games? You know what I'm saying? So I think Metabike being back, which that is very important to note. Metabike being back, hopefully that he's back to being Metabike, because if that's the case, then Baltimore has a chance. They have a good chance. But we don't know about Metabike. We don't know how he's going to get in there, how he's going to react. And so you got a lot of unknowns with Baltimore. I do think they'll compete, of course, just because of the pedigree of the team. Lamar Jackson is there. But it's a big year for Lamar. It's a huge year for Lamar. New system, new coaching. But it is worthy of noting that every time that he's had a new offensive coordinator, he's won MVP. And so that's something to note of. But you got to win championships. We're sick of MVPs.
That's right.
We're going to see what happens.
Do you agree with Kenny that they're going to compete, but we're not sure what's going on with this team? Or do you have more confidence in the Ravens than Kenny does?
Coming from a team that lost their last game to man, you know what? They're getting a new start with a new head coach, and I know like new head coaches can be a pain in the neck for these veteran players that have been on the team longer, because them veteran players have to take control if the team doesn't like the coach. And do they have that in Lamar Jackson? 50-50 on that, because Lamar does have his days, and he does have his days when he's a leader. But, this is an organization who missed out on the playoffs due to a kick. So, and they lost a lot of talent, because, they have – I thought Isaiah Likely was, a decent backup to Mark Andrews, because Mark Andrews half of the time last season didn't show up like the last year Mark Andrews. So when Likely came in, Likely played a role in getting some points for the Ravens. And they really didn't do much this offseason besides get Trey Hendrickson, because the Max Crosby deal didn't go through. And I don't think Trey Hendrickson is gonna pay a big impact on this team like a Max Crosby would, because you think about it, Trey Hendrickson been on the Bengals, and they haven't really went to the playoffs since the Super Bowl run they had. And a Max Crosby would give offensive linemen fear. But I cannot see them being that number one. 50-50. But we'll see as time progresses.
Mm-hmm. My biggest thing is they have the easiest path in the division per the schedule is 24th ranked. So they got a little bit of advantage because they obviously didn't win as many games as the other teams, especially the Steelers. I don't know. I'm with you, Kenny. I think that fact that I don't know Jesse Minter. I don't know you. I mean, you barely coached defense. I don't even know this guy. And you've got Lamar. When you have a defensive coach with a superstar offensive player, it could be bad. It could be great, but it could be bad because when things go south, I mean, he's got to look at Declan Doyle. He's never really been an offensive coordinator. He was the Bears offensive coordinator, but Ben Johnson ran the offense, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. The first couple games, like you said, Kenny, maybe he's going to new offense. He's going to be great, but that was when Harbaugh was at the helm. He could be a steady hand. So I'm curious to see what they say. I understand why they're picked to win this division, and I just don't buy that they're back in the Super Bowl hunt to me. Let's talk about your team, Kenny. Obviously, huge changes there too. You've got wholesale changes. You've got McCarthy coming in, Brian Angelicio as his OC, and then Patrick Graham came over for the Raiders. He was pretty good with the Raiders. Some big changes on offense, right? They lost some guys, but they gained some guys. You got Pittman, you got Dowdle for offense, you got Brisker. I think Jamel Dean is a good pickup. Darnell Savage at corner, the big guy, Sebastian Joseph Day from Tennessee. But they did lose some guys. Obviously, they lost some of the guys, ancillary guys, I guess, and then some older guys kind of left the team. I'll let you talk about any draft picks that you like, but their schedule's 19th, so it's not that much tougher than the Ravens, but they do have to play, they got to play at New England week 2. They got to play Denver at home on Thanksgiving on the Friday. And then, of course, they have to play, Jags at Monday Night Football the 14th. And they finish with Baltimore on the week 15 and 18. So they got to close strong. So let me know, Kenny, what do you think about your Steelers?
We got a lot of changes.
Mm-hmm.
The good part is we have experience coming in at those positions, unlike the Ravens. That's what I was trying to explain. I was talking about it earlier. I said we talking about it on the show tonight, so everybody tune in because I said the difference is we have experience coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We're not unknown. These guys have coached in the NFL, have been around the NFL for quite a long time, and have experience in these situations. I think a lot of people look at McCarthy like it was such a terrible time in Dallas because they didn't win a Super Bowl or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, I'm saying they were great times, but they weren't as bad as people try to make it seem like.
Yeah, they won 12 games, I think, every year or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think at the end of the day, McCarthy runs into what he always runs into. About that third, fourth year, the message gets stale. And I think that's why I think here, it's not going to be that. I think he only is going to have about 3 to 4 years. I think we're getting a new coach. He might even already be in the building and waiting right now because of the fact I think McCarthy's 63. It's not he's not a spring chicken. And so, but looking at the team, I love that the Steelers have 2 of everything on offense. They have 2 tight ends, at least 2 receivers, at least 2 running backs. You understand what I'm saying? And then quarterback Aaron Rodgers, keep him upright. I think our offensive line is starting to gel, get more continuity, being together. We got to figure out the right tackle situation because we drafted another tackle again, another year, another tackle for the Steelers. Oh my gosh. I'm not talking about the kid that like he can't play, but man, I'm tired of drafting tackles in the first round.
Sure.
Somebody got to pan out.
Yeah, you're burning capital every time.
You're just burning capital by doing it. But I see a lot of potential in this offensive line. I love our trench warfare on defense. We got young guys, the Yaya Black coming back. We got Herman. Oh my God, I always mess up his name. Harmon coming back for his second year. You always got the vet Cam, TJ on one side. They got him moving around like a madman, which is great. Herbig just got paid. Highsmith, I expect to be traded. Put that on the low. I expect Sawyer to take another step. D-back wise, I think we're good. I like that we got younger back there. Go ahead and pay Joey Porter, please, because he will leave just like his dad did and go to Miami somewhere. So let's take care of Joey Porter so that we can go ahead and fortify that secondary. I think the Steelers are in prime position to win this division again.
Okay, so they can overtake them. They can overtake Baltimore. Well, I mean, they obviously won last year, but they think they could take out Baltimore.
I think Baltimore, because I don't think Baltimore got better. I think we did. I think the Steelers got better. I don't think Baltimore did. I think they stayed the same. Addition by subtraction. I feel like, but a lot of their guys, they kind of flip flop guys in and out. But I don't necessarily think Baltimore got substantially better.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've got your cousin asking the Ravens, what did they really lose? We knew we needed you 4 minutes ago, but we'll come back to you in a minute. Zell, what do you think about the Steelers? Do you think you agree with Kenny that they're going to be toe-to-toe with the Ravens in this division, despite obviously getting McCarthy and you've got Aaron Rodgers back?
I think the Steelers are the favorites to win this division, really, because last year we said that nail-biter game proved everything. And I think the Steelers have more of an experience in this roster because even though they're going from a Mike Tomlin to a Mike McCarthy, McCarthy has his, favorite quarterback back, and it's not Dak Prescott. So, yeah, he's very comfortable with Aaron Rodgers. And this team, they did lose some pieces, but they gained a lot of fresh new faces and fresh legs. And like Kenny said, they have two of everything. I would like to see what this offense looked like because now that they have Michael Pittman, they have DK coming back. You have Rico, who did have a nice first half last year for the Carolina Panthers, but second half, it was getting, but I think him with a new team and a new offense can get this running game that the Pittsburgh offense has been needing for a long time. We're not even going to talk about the elephant in the room that went to the Chargers last year, Kenny. You know who I'm talking about.
We ain't got to do it.
You got to do it. But I feel like this team can win the division. And I think the Ravens,
Yeah, I hear you. Well, let's talk about the third team in the division, which everybody wants to get up on them again, but I don't believe in that. You got the Bengals. They brought back the exact same staff, guys. 6-11 last year. They still got Zach Taylor, Dan Pitcher, and Alan Golden. I can't believe it. Now they lose Hendrickson, they lose Joseph Asai, they lost Cameron Taylor-Britt, and then Browning, but they did get Jonathan Allen, Dexter Lawrence in a trade, Boye Mafe, who's pretty good. So I mean, and then I think the second round draft pick, Cassius Howell, is a pretty good pass rusher, and Takario Davis. So they have the 30th easiest schedule. So like this division has the easiest schedule run down. Supposedly, they really don't play that many teams on the road that are tough. They do play Houston in week 2, at Pittsburgh week 3, and then at Baltimore week 5. That's a tough stretch. They still got KC and Baltimore at home late in the schedule. So they have the ability to be bad early but come back because they got a soft schedule. So, Zell, I'll start with you. Is it the same old Bengals or the Bungles, or do you think they have a shot, especially with that weak schedule late?
This is one of the teams I do not want to talk about. The Bengals come from a long way from going to the Super Bowl to being a team that should have potential, but they don't live up to it. You're going from last year, Joe Burrow got injured and they had to take away Joe Flacco and brought him to the Bengals. Which I'm not saying Joe Flacco didn't do a bad job, but he showed more prowess than Joe Burrow last year. And I saw some of the Bengals games because they was on television against the Bears and all the other teams. But they didn't really do much this offseason. Like you said, they didn't really gained enough attraction. I don't think nobody wants to go to the Bengals. This is coming from a team that drafted a player last year, and he didn't even sign to the team. He didn't even sign. He didn't even do one snap. So I think no, they're not even gonna. They're gonna compete, but they're not gonna be that top team.
Good enough.
And
So
you got an
just miss it again.
Got an easy schedule, but you can still lose with an easy schedule. So
yeah. All right, Kenny Casanova. I know you have feelings about the Bengals, or maybe you don't even think about them anymore.
Yeah, I got a feeling they're bad. Got a real good feeling about them being bad. Listen, man, I was telling somebody this earlier about the Bengals. I said the Bengals turned into exactly what they're supposed to. They do this all the time. They get a good quarterback. I'm telling you, I can go down the list. I've been in division for a long time. Carson Palmer started out amazing. Wow. Look what they're doing. Go. And they fall off a cliff. He get injured, they fall off a cliff. Andy Dalton. Wow, another one. Oh, man, they making the playoffs all the time. Can't win a first playoff game for nothing. The game could be handed to them, just like the Steelers handed them a playoff game that year. When they handed it to him, here, Burfict, you take it. He said, AB, I'd rather knock his head off instead of winning a playoff game.
Yeah.
They can't win games like that. Then look now. Joe Burrow, oh my gosh, the Savior's here. For Super Bowl his second year. And where have you been since?
Right.
Injured reserve. Or you got a terrible defense. They're so stupid that they didn't even know that, hey, buddy, your run defense wasn't the problem.
Right.
It's pass defense. Let me go get 2 defensive tackles who we really don't need.
Right.
We spent all this draft. We don't even really need them, but let's go do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go do it anyway. Let's not worry about the corners, the safeties. Let's not do it. Don't worry about any of that. Focus on the defensive line. That's how the Bengals think. And then they'll look at you like, see, they improved. Improve what? What did you improve? All you did is add a strength over strength. You didn't do anything. Man.
Yeah, I think Zach Taylor will be the first coach fired this year. That's my take. Because he should have been fired last year.
Yeah.
But if they start off again slow, because they're the worst starting team in the NFL ever, they start off 2-4 this time. They got a can this time, right? I mean, like Burrow or not, if he's healthy or not, he's just not getting it done,
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. Cal Shanahan might be the first one fired. He might be fired before the season even start.
That's true.
All these injuries.
All right. Well, let's go to the Browns. We'll get through the rest of this division. We still got another division to do. We got the Browns. I know you don't think much of them, Kenny, but they also did wholesale changes. Todd Monken comes in, OC from Baltimore. He brings Travis Switzer for the offensive coordinator for Baltimore. We got Mike Ruttenberg. Don't ask me. He was I don't even know where this guy used to coach as their DC. Of course, they lose Myles Garrett. That was the big talk with the trade. They lost Njoku. Wyatt Teller goes to Houston. Devin Bush to the Bears. They lost some talent. They did pick up in the trade Jared Verse, a young player, Zion Johnson from the Chargers, Elton Jenkins. They're trying to get that offensive line a little better. Titus Howard from Houston. And then in the draft, they did get Fano and Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston. So they kind of upgraded up wide receiver there. And I like this player, the safety, Emmanuel McNeil Warren from Toledo. So to me, the defense, isn't that bad. Still, even losing Garrett. But they have the 32nd schedule. So they have the easiest schedule in the NFL, supposedly. They don't play. They play one primetime game the whole time, from what I checked. It's early. Other than that, they pretty much start on the road, but they really just have their division games that really have to be tougher games. So we'll start with you, Zell. Anything to note about the Browns, the same old Browns? You think they're just going to suck, or do you think they're just kind of a quarterback away from being a decent football team?
Okay, so I think they're going to be a surprise this year.
Okay.
And they could be third in the division. because we can put the Bengals at the 4th because I'm
Okay.
not even going, because I've been low key scouring the Browns,
Mhm.
with their quarterback situation going on, but I also been paying attention to what they're doing on offense and what they're doing on defense. But from the free agency list, they picked up a lot of offensive tackles, so
Yeah.
they're trying to protect whoever's going to be a quarterback. We don't know if it's going to be Deshaun Watson. We don't know if it's going to be Dylan Gabriel. We don't know if it's going to be well, we do know it was going to be,
Probably
but we can't.
Shador, yeah.
Probably Shador, but they're talking about the 4th-string quarterback, and this is what is laughable about Cleveland every year, their quarterback situation. But I think Shador will start, and I'm seeing from practice snaps that he's actually playing better than the other two. And the 2 wide receivers that they picked up, Concepcion is making plays
Fast.
in
He's
training
fast.
camp.
Yes, yeah.
He's making plays. Boston is making plays as well.
Big guy. Mhm.
So with this offense, they can move how they want to. And Stefanski's not coaching, so we don't have to hold back plays. So I think Cleveland's gonna be a surprise, even with Todd Monken, who we really don't know.
Right.
He can be a surprise as well with this team. But this is Cleveland. This is Cleveland what we're talking about.
Kenny, are you even sweat Cleveland right now, or do you think that they could be a little frisky in the division?
It's Cleveland. It's Cleveland. But I will agree. Shador should be a starting quarterback. It's clear to me. It's not even close. I mean, they just showed his stats today. Like he was 21 or 25, something crazy like that. So many yards. I'm like, can we stop with this? I get it. Y'all already paid Deshaun the money. It's already 70 on the hook. You're already on the hook for it. Ain't nothing you can do about it, bro. Sit him on the bench and send him to some. Don't send him nowhere. Send him home to his wife.
He says he loves Cleveland, so he already bought a big old house.
Send him
You
home
know he loves Cleveland.
and relax, man. Just go home and relax. Because to me, Shador is definitely the starter. Definitely. And they might finish third, actually. You might be right, Zell, about that. You might be on to something. Because I don't feel like they're not a terrible team. I will say that. That is they're not a terrible team, but they are Cleveland. That's the problem. That Cleveland get in there.
They're Clevelanding.
Yeah, they start Clevelanding. Yeah, there it is. They start Clevelanding.
I just will say, I know this is impossible. It's not a fantasy team. You put Joe Burrow in Cleveland, they win this division. I just think this team isn't that bad 2 through 32, right? Or 2 through 22. I got 22. Like they got a pretty good team. Their defense is going to be, even without our guy, Myles Garrett, like Percy ain't a bad player. They got a lot of good players in that defense.
They do.
And the offense isn't half bad. You got a good running back, good wide receiver catch the ball, and then the tight end. But I agree with you, Kenny. At some point, they're going to Cleveland out. They always do it, even when they were good a couple of years ago. So it sounds to me like if you went in this division, it sounds like Kenny's got Steelers 1, Ravens 2, and then maybe you're considering Cleveland 3 and Bengals 4. And
yeah,
I don't know, Zell, you think that's the same one, or you would put Ravens on 1, Steelers 2? I know you like the Browns 3 and Bengals 4.
3 and 4 and 1 and 2 is staying. Well, no, Steelers 1, Ravens 2,
Okay,
Cleveland 3, Bengals 4.
so it's just a matter of Kenny sticks with that. You think that they can jump up to 3 with the Browns?
Yeah, unless something changes.
Well, the biggest thing is the thing about, if I was a Cleveland fan, and I know some Cleveland fans, like, do you really want them? Don't you want them to pick in the top 5 so they can get a good quarterback next year? It's a good quarterback class. They end up winning 6 or 7 games. They might be up at 10, 11, may not get their pick, a good quarterback. Because, the Jets are going to need a quarterback. Miami may not pick one. Arizona will definitely pick one. So you want to be like 3 or 4 so you can get the next guy. But
I think Cleveland, the fan base, has already chosen their quarterback of the future. They believe in Shador. They riding the train, which the train is not bad, but he didn't I could see last year being like the season that he was supposed to come out. But we know what Stefanski was doing. We know what the organization was doing.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, he's selling our merch. He's making our team more profitable. Why not just let him do what he does? And now they're finally learning that. And now I think they have to assess the situation because you don't have, that person anymore. So
Yeah.
I think they're going to roll into the situation. But unless the Ravens don't improve, Cleveland can be 2. Steelers can be 1, Ravens can be 3, and Bengals can be 4. But it's Lamar Jackson. I'm not putting Lamar Jackson over Shador.
Right. All right, well, let's go into the North. We're definitely going to go over it today, but hopefully the fans are still sticking with us here. We got the North. We'll start with the Bears. They won the division. They are not the division favorites, by the way, here, but I went first.
Huh?
No, they're not. We'll talk about that in a minute. So they're not the division favorites. We got Ben Johnson. Press Taylor got elevated up with Doyle leaving. Dennis Allen stays. They lost a bunch of people. Nashawn Wright to the Jets, DJ Moore to Buffalo. They lost almost the whole secondary, dude. It was like the Byard, Jonathan Owens, Tremaine Edmonds. They lost all these damn people. But they did pick up Garrett Bradbury for the center because our center, Dahlman, retired. You got Devin Bush from Cleveland, Kobe Bryant, who just got hurt, from Seattle. And then I guess those other guys aren't too big of note. Contreras Street from Atlanta. And then I like this Thineman guy at safety from Oregon. They've got another center from Logan Jones from Iowa, Xavier Thomas from LSU. They have the toughest schedule. So Cleveland had the easiest schedule. The Bears had the toughest schedule. Last year they had an easy schedule. I mean, this is a gauntlet, dude. I won't go through all these games, but they basically every other week they play somebody good. Monday Night Football against Philly week 3, Green Bay week 5 at Green Bay, Thursday Night Football week 7 against New England. It doesn't stop. They also play on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and they also have to play at Buffalo week 15 in a Saturday game. So it's a rough schedule, guys. I'm not super – look, I think they've improved in a lot of ways, and I think Caleb will step up. We know last year they won 7 games at the buzzer. That ain't going to happen again. So I'm a little bit down on the Bears this year. I think they still can contend, like maybe second, third. I don't know if they're going to win this division personally. So, Zell, what do you think? What do you think about the Bears this year?
This is the hometown team, and they had a very impressive season come out last year. Take the North by storm. They already said last year they want to run the North. Now they have to prove they can run the North this year. And like you said, the odds are not in their favor, which is kind of a surprise that you got a good quarterback in Caleb Johnson. You got Ben Johnson, second year with this team. He's elevating it to new heights. They did lose a lot of secondary defensive players. Now, that's going to be their kryptonite this year. But I think Dennis Allen can adjust to that because he's known to be a defensive guru. But from look of it, they can pretty much be like second or third in this division. But I'm hoping they be second and be a wild card team. Even though they do have a tough schedule, like you said, they're playing Philly, they're playing Green Bay. I don't even consider Green Bay a threat no more, but we're going to get to that. But I think they can be second and be a wild card team. This is a team that has a good quarterback, and he's proven time and time again, even late, that he can get the job done. And them letting go DJ Moore and giving the younger guys some more snaps and they feel more confident, I think they can do wild card second this year.
Okay. Kenny?
Yeah, I agree with that because they got a tough schedule, man. I'm looking at their schedule. It's going to be too hard for them to win this division. At first, when you said it, I was like, what?
Yeah.
But I guess they added on the fact they got the hardest schedule in the league, and they're like, oh.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. That gave me cause to pause. And like you said, they didn't improve enough to where it's like, oh, they'll be fine. They'll run through that. Nah, man, you got to show me more. You can't just do it 1 year. I don't have that kind of faith in them. The Madden curse is real. Just to let you guys know, very real. I don't care if Brady did it. Brady's the GOAT. The GOAT can do GOAT things.
That's different, yeah.
That's different. Caleb is not that, but Caleb is a really good quarterback. Now, don't get it wrong. I like this for his development though, because to me, you're going against that way. If they do end up coming out and winning this division, the Bears are going to Super Bowl. If I will make a bold prediction on this show. If the Bears win their division and make it through the gauntlet, they're winning they're not winning. They're going to the Super Bowl. I will say that. They're going to the Super Bowl. Reason being is this is a hard schedule, man.
Yeah.
They make it through this. They're battle tested already going into the playoffs. They got their experience they learned from last year, how close they were to the NFC Championship game. And I think this time there's not a DJ Moore there to screw it up. Never mind. I let him slide. But I actually think that the Bears are probably going to finish second. I'll give them second, not third. Not third. I won't do them like that. I'll give them second, slide them right in there.
Okay. Well, let's go to the next team that I put is the Packers. They are also not the favorite in the division. They're the second favorite. Matt LaFleur is back. He gets Jonathan Gannon as the DC as Hafley went to Miami. And then Stenovich he returns as offensive coordinator. They lost Jenkins to Cleveland, Quay Walker to the Raiders, Malik Willis to Miami as the backup, Dobbs and Wicks, the wide receivers, and Rashawn Gary to Dallas. They lost some things. They picked up Hargrave from Minnesota, Zaire Franklin from Indy, Benjamin St-Juste from Chargers. Tyrod's the backup now, and it's Sky Moore for special teams. Didn't have a lot of draft picks. They had Brandon Sissy, I think that's how you say it. He's a second rounder, and then defensive tackle. They have a very tough schedule too. They're rated as the fourth toughest schedule, and it's very backloaded from what I can see. So they're at the Rams week 12. That's a Wednesday Thanksgiving Day game this year. No mark your calendars, guys. The 14th they play Sunday Night Football against Buffalo. Then they play the Bears on week 16, Houston week 17, and Detroit week 18. So Micah Parsons is not supposed to come back to mid-October. So I think if they can somehow make it through that early schedule and be okay and get some wins, then maybe they can last this tough part of the second half of the schedule. But if they don't, it could be a rough year for the Pack. So, Kenny, what do you think about the Pack?
I don't like their schedule at all. I think they lost a lot. Plus, we don't know about this Josh Jacobs situation. I don't know if the NFL is going to step in and do anything about that. So we got to wait on that too.
That's true.
And then, I mean, has Jordan Love topped out? Like, is that it for him? Like, that's what I've been wondering. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for that maturity to set in with him. But it's just like he's still having those bonehead plays. And it's just making me wonder, is it just a Brett Favre situation where it's just a part of his game now? It's not going anywhere. He's not going to be polished as Aaron Rodgers is or anything like that. Maybe he's more of a Brett Favre. Just have those bonehead plays. Because I'm not going to lie, he is the reason why I would not pick them last year. For anything, win the division, anything. Just because he has too many mistakes, man, and I was just worried. I'm worried about them this year. I could see them possibly falling off a cliff going into that second half of the year, and especially with them already losing Rashawn Gary. They already lost him to Dallas. Now you don't have Michael Parsons.
Right.
Where's the defense going to do? We seen Baltimore run roughshod all over. If you want to beat Green Bay this year, y'all, run the football. They'll give it up. They will give it up. And so, to me, this is a fourth-place team. This is a fourth-place team.
Joe, it looks like you probably agree with that, but, I mean, talk to me. What you said that you think the shine's come off Green Bay, so talk to me about that.
Man, this Green Bay team had promise at first. After Rodgers left, Jordan Love was doing good. They had good wide receivers, a good running back. Now, this is the second year, and this is the year that I think Green Bay really goes out the playoffs. Because we're looking at this roster, and I'm looking at this roster. I only know like 2 wide receivers on this team.
Yeah.
Other than Christian Watson and Gold and Sky Moore, like, come on, man. Like, come on. What are we doing? And then your running back situation. If y'all lose Josh Jacobs, that's gonna kill you. That's gonna kill them. And this is coming from a team that relies on defense and offense. And you're not getting Micah Parsons until October with this really tough schedule. And this is where I was like, yeah, they're not gonna make an impact. If Micah Parsons coming back in October, I'm just looking at this because I see another player who came off a PCL and the ACL injury, and he's already back in training camp and he's already throwing the ball. So what is Micah Parsons doing other than his podcast in the offseason? So if this team is not going to really do much this year, I'm disappointed they didn't fire Matt LaFleur last season.
Probably should have.
But they should have, but they gave him a chance and we'll see what he does with that. But as of what it looks like is not giving Green Bay, is giving fourth and bottom.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just, what's tough for me to think through my head is a year ago, once they got his schedule in the league, they got to slip down to fourth place because the Vikings beat them in the last week of the season. They do play a lot of contending teams, but they're, kind of favorable until the end. Really, the end of their schedule is a little tougher than the beginning. Early, they play Buffalo week 2 on Thursday Night Football at Buffalo and New England and Munich. But in the middle, it's pretty easy. Then at the end, they play at Minnesota week 15, Sunday Night Football, at the Bears week 17.
So I think, like you said, they got the 27th easiest schedule. They should take charge in this division. And, I want to see what this team is like because now you have a new OC. You have the same defensive coordinator who wasn't really bad. It was just they had injuries in the
winter away. That defense can't hold up. That's my take on them. I do like Campbell a lot, but I just think I don't know. Goff's a little bit older. Maybe that offense is not quite as good with Johnson there. AJ McCarthy in this lineup. You put Kyler Murray healthy with those weapons. All he's got to do is just play decent, and they're going to be back to like the Sam Darnold year where they can win 12 games. So I think it's a really tough division, but I love this coaching staff.
They still have a decent running back in Aaron Jones. He still gets you touchdowns, whether you like it or not. Kyler Murray is mobile. This defense looks pretty good. And they're signing a safety in Jamal Adams. Now, Jamal Adams is not the same Jamal Adams he was in when he was in New Jersey. But with this defense and with Brian Flores, he could probably get back to that. So I
stay healthy. And I have to see him fully bought in. Once I get those two things, the sky's the limit for this Minnesota team because, like you said, they got the best defense in the division on top of the fact that they got the best receiver in the division. I mean, I like Kevin O'Connell as a quarterback guru, being able to figure it out. And then Kyler Murray being indoors is amazing to me. I think that's what people they don't look at it like that. The Vikings being indoors is amazing for Kyler Murray. On that field, you know how fast he's going to look on that field? I can see it now. He's going to look amazingly fast. I think the receivers are going to love him because you finally got a quarterback that's going to be able to put it where you need it. And so they third. I will say they third. If I was third, but it can change. And Detroit isn't a lock like you guys said because we don't know about their defense. But let me tell you this. You better bring a 50 with you if you're going to play against them.
Yeah, you got to be able to score.
You better bring you a 50 with you because they're going to put up them points.
So you've got Detroit 1, Bears 2, sounds like Vikings 3, and Green Bay 4.
Basement.
Dell, you got Detroit 1. Is that right?
I got
4. Lay out your 4.
Okay, so my 4, looking at it, I think this can be the division that can get 3 teams in the playoffs.
I agree.
Looking from it, so from standpoint, I'm gonna put the Vikings at 1. I'm gonna put Detroit at 2 because I'm still thinking about that offense. But then, because the Bears have a tough schedule, that's the only reason why I'm putting them at 2. But the Bears, like Kenny said, the Bears can overcome that schedule. My thoughts are going to change. But I'm putting Detroit at 2, and I'm putting the Bears at 3, and Green Bay is at 4.
All right. Yeah, I like Vikings 1, Bears 2. I guess it's hard for me to put Green Bay 4, but I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna put Detroit last. I know that you guys are big on them. I just, I'm still hard for me to get over Green Bay lower than 3. So yeah, I've inverted the division. But yeah, you're probably right. And we'll know after the first 4 or 5 games, they come out of the gates and they stumble. It's going to be a rough second half for Green Bay. So, but either way, I agree with you, Zell. I think this is a 3-team playoff division, like 3 playoff team division. So you're going to have to win 9-10 games, get in. And I think that's what it's going to be. There's going to be 3 teams that do it. They're going to compete with a Dallas or I think San Francisco, we'll talk about them in a couple of weeks, but I think they can make it. So it's 2 teams from the West, definitely 1 from the East, 1 from the South, and there's 3 from the North. So anyway, hey, good conversation. We got through 2 divisions. It took us a little longer, but it was a good conversation.
Yes.
Remember to check out our Spotify, follow us on Casanova Vibes, YouTube, and our Facebook accounts. Follow me, Wegs, at Wegspool on Instagram.